Welcome to the Daily Shift. You heard that right. The Daily Shift. The show where we block out the noise and speak truth, train your mind, and help you become the absolute best version of yourself. Leo and Andrew are on their way. You're in the right place. And while you're here, take a breath. We're about to dive in. The show starts in 30 seconds. You ready? Take a deep breath in and breathe it out. Prepare for your shift.
What is going on, beautiful people? Today we are talking about the power of visualization, why you should be visualizing every single day, and how you can visualize, and also walking you through just a quick one by the end of this show. How are we feeling today, Drew?
Feeling good. Got some strawberry tea going again.
There you go.
And what a beautiful day it's been. Highly productive morning. Got a great start, got the morning routine in, and has been extremely productive. And I think it's so powerful whenever we can move with absolute clarity. And from our discussions and the way we've been talking lately has just been bringing more and more clarity where we can move with certainty. And I think to know every step you take that it is taking you toward the mission and the vision gives me so much energy and excitement. I always tell people, most people, when we have trouble getting out of bed or we have trouble knowing what to do, or we think we're lazy, or we think we're bored, it's actually just lack of clarity. And so clarity is a beautiful thing.
Absolutely. So with visualization, the map and the journey that I want to take you guys through is understanding your mind as we open it up and kind of show you what's already been happening behind the scenes. And then I want it to be a transformative call, transformative live between us where you kind of break through and start doing this by yourself. So we got 5 points, as per usual, that we want you guys to write down and to put into practice. But before we go into that, type in the chat 1 out of 10. How are you feeling? How are you feeling about everything, about your life, about relationships, about business, about clarity? Are you continually doing the habits that you've put into place? Some of you is working out, some of you is reading the Bible, some of you is creating content. Have you been putting that into use? And we'll pull it up here just so we have everything. But we'll dive in as everyone's typing in the chat. Number 1, type it in, mental rehearsal. So mental rehearsal is this idea that you're always visualizing already.
Yeah.
Every single worry, every single scenario, every single dream is a mental repetition of visualization. The question, though, is, are you rehearsing alignment? Are you rehearsing the life that you want to live? Or are you simply rehearsing and practicing anxiety every day?
You know, that was something that was a game changer when you taught me that, Leo. Because prior to you talking to me about visualization, like I thought it's either something you do or you don't do. And that's not at all the case. It's something every one of us is doing. It's just a matter of, are we choosing to visualize the life the way we want it? Are we choosing to future pace ourselves to the life we are meant to live? Or are we just allowing any random thought, any random stranger, any random person we're listening to on social media to decide what we visualize?
So our brain doesn't know the difference, guys, between real or imagined. So if you've ever had a dream where you're sleeping well, you're doing something, but all of a sudden you're falling off of a skyscraper or a tall building, and you jolt awake.
Used to be a cougar would be chasing me. The cat.
What kind of cougar? Yeah.
The cat kind.
Cat cougar. Okay.
Because we would deer hunt, and we would go out and we'd find the cougar tracks, the wildcat tracks in the woods. And I would always think, oh my gosh, I'm going to the woods with just a bow and an arrow. What if I get attacked? Yeah. And so I would go to bed at night, and sometimes I would dream I was getting ready to get attacked, and right as the paw came down on me, I'd wake up.
Bro, we had such different childhoods. Bow and arrow, that's crazy. So our brain does not know the difference in that moment, in that dream, whether you're truly falling or not. That's why you create a jolt response to that.
Yeah.
So in the same essence, if we start visualizing our future, if we start visualizing how we want the day to go, and we put ourselves in that state of feeling so incredible in that visualization, our brain doesn't know the difference. So it's going to give you the same endorphins. It's going to give you the same energy as if you're in that moment. This is what the greatest athletes, the greatest Olympians, the greatest CEOs, this is what they do on a day-to-day basis, because they understand that it's either you rehearse success or you rehearse anxiety.
Something that changed when I started public speaking was I would do exactly what you just said. I would envision myself going out and delivering the message with confidence that I knew I was meant to deliver. I would envision people smiling. I would smile. I would envision them listening to what I was sharing, taking notes. I would envision how great they were going to feel when I talked to them about the thing I was talking to them about. And I think that's such a powerful thing as you rehearse your future life, because you can either choose to go, oh my gosh, what if somebody doesn't like me? What if? Or you can choose to say, you know what, it's going to go so perfectly. And it's such a gift that we have. It's like a secret hack.
So number 2 is the biggest problem. Type in the chat, the biggest problem. So this is the biggest problem with most visualization, is we base it off of identity that we haven't fully become yet. And we'll put ourselves in this state of mind where we're trying to imagine ourselves as this new person.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, if it's not guided, we won't believe it and we won't feel it. We won't allow ourselves to fully get the effects of visualization because it feels fake.
Yeah.
And what we've learned over time is that there's a certain way of visualization that you can do for yourself, or someone like myself can walk you through a visualization so that you can see a future version of yourself in almost a third person.
Yeah.
And then you slowly can integrate. And it sounds very, very interesting, but that's literally what happens.
Well, I think it's the difference between, because first time I tried to visualize years ago, as my future self. It felt like it felt so, I'm trying to think of a better word than fake. It felt so inauthentic because it's like, that's not who I am. I'm not that confident. I don't look that good yet. And it felt so inauthentic. And something that you've been able to do, Leo, and the way you guide visualizations and the way you teach it is to cause me to be able to see 5 years from now, you are going to look massively different.
Mm-hmm.
Can be for the better, can be for the worse. If we eat unhealthy every day and we don't exercise, it's going to be one way. Versus if we choose to eat healthier, we're going to feel much better. And so 5 years from now, you're going to look different. You're going to sound different. You're going to feel different. You're going to either be richer or poorer or the same place. All of those things are going to happen. And so when you can future pace as if what you describe as that third person, and you start to see, look at yourself 5 years ago. And this was something you walked me through that changed my perspective. And if I watch a video of me 5 years ago, I was a different person than I am now. Like, I moved different, I talked different, I acted different. Yeah, I still had the same kind heart. I was still Andrew Schlag, but I was a massively different person. And so by using that data point of, oh my gosh, 5 years ago I was a different person, and then seeing the 5 years from now person, it caused it to be much more authentic and real for me. So thanks for sharing that.
So the visualization we're going to walk you through in about 10 minutes here is going to show you how to see that person in third person. And what helps is when you picture somebody else in the beginning as practice. Picture someone that you know is very confident. Maybe you have someone in your life, a mentor, a father, a mother, whoever it is. You picture them incredibly confident. And it's just simply a muscle and a skill set that you use because we already know how important visualization is. We might as well practice it. We might as well build that muscle.
Yeah.
So even here, this isn't going to be the full visualization, but if you want to put this into quick practice, as you get yourself in a very calm state, and for those who think in pictures, who can think very easily, this is going to be quite simple for you, but just think about someone in your life that is so incredibly confident already, and just imagine them being on stage, walking and talking and encapsulating or captivating the audience in a very bright way. And notice the way that they speak, notice the way that they move, notice the way that they walk, and just start visualizing that first. And you don't have to visualize yourself doing that yet if that's hard, but you can visualize yourself near them, being around this person, being friends with this person. And that becomes like the 10-pound weights as you start doing your shoulder raises, right? Right now, you can't do the 25.
Yeah.
Doing the 25 is like imagining that is you. But right now, you just simply imagine that you're that person's friend and you stay around that type of energy. So that's something we can do right now, and a practice that you can do every day until you get to a point where every day you're visualizing yourself as that person on stage, or that person who's leading a team, or that person who just did $1 million deal.
That's a powerful step, because it's like we talked about yesterday with taking 10 steps at a time. Yeah. If you could, when I first started years ago, like I could barely envision myself being close to that person like you described. And I think as we can take those steps, small commitments in our brain, I always say, leads to large commitments. A small step to saying I'm closer to that person than I was yesterday opens the pathway for that. But what's some more specific instruction that you want to give to people to get ready for that visualization?
So type in the chat, vision with identity. This very simple visualization that I'll walk you through in a moment. You're going to simply see a future version of yourself. And the frame of mind is, in 2 years, this person has worked out consistently, has been incredibly focused, has built great relationships, built charisma, has read the books, and has just put in the work. So we know that person would be different, right? Because you're going to do that. You're going to put in that work. So it's much easier to visualize that person 2 years from now. Now, what we have to realize is as we meet this person and become this person and live and feel what they might be feeling. The objective is to open your eyes and to walk the vision, because it's simply permission for you to live it. It's not manifestation where you close your eyes, you think it, and it magically comes to you.
Right.
The car magically comes to you. The business magically comes to you. Right? I think that was a lie that we were told for so many years.
How has your view changed on that in the last 4 years?
Well, we were sold this idea, and this is my belief, right? When The Secret came out, and someone I respect so much who has passed away now is Bob Proctor.
Yeah.
And when I listen to his stuff now, it feels off now. But in the moment when I was younger, it was like, wow, manifestation makes sense. If I just think it hard enough, if I just truly energetically match the frequency of the thing that I want, I know it's going to come. But what I realize is mental rehearsal, when we see it, we just simply give ourselves permission to know that it exists so that we have more faith to actually go take the action to get there. Because at the end of the day, all personal development will tell you to take action. You cannot just manifest something and it will magically show up in your life.
That was a good description.
There's something called the confirmation bias.
Yeah.
And it simply means that, not so simply, let me try to explain it in a simple way. It is so much easier to show all the times that manifestation did work, but no one's going to talk about all the millions of times that it did not work. All the millions of people who watched a YouTube video about, yeah, if you just claim the $1 million, if you claim the money, it'll come. There's been hundreds of millions of people where it did not work for, where nothing happened. But there's been a lot of cases where, oh, something did happen. Oh, so I got paid that next day, or some money did come.
Yeah.
And they confirm it and they post about it, and then the belief keeps on going. But what we're saying is the simple idea that visualization of what it is that you do want, it is simply painting a picture of what is possible for you. Again, so you can just have the faith to move forward in that direction.
Yeah.
And have a direction to go into.
That's good. What does that mean to you, though? I guess in terms of business or in real life, as you're starting to visualize your future self, and it's giving you that faith to take that action. What does that even mean to you? And how does somebody who's looking to start down that path and trying to understand how to begin, what's that beginning stage look like?
So when you do this visualization and you start getting in the practice of it, where you see the life that you want to live, and you're talking to this future version of yourself, and they've done the work, they've traveled to the places, and they're now building a business. You simply imagine what that person is doing. And it's up to you in this moment, of course, to imagine that, right? And as you're thinking of it, you can borrow the feeling of what you would be feeling if you're in their shoes. Let's just say you imagine yourself at a W-2 and you're working 12 hours a day, and you just simply visualize that. You can feel whether you're going to like that or not.
Yeah.
Because you're just imagining it. Just like if you imagine argument, you feel the argument.
Yeah.
You feel the hatred. You feel the toughness there. You will then feel whatever you want to visualize, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. So then let's just say then you're visualizing a more free life where you're traveling more, where you're helping kids. Let's just say that's something you want to do.
Yeah.
You are helping people build their business. And while you visualize that, you feel in alignment. Where you're like, wow, this feels really good. That is telling you something.
What if someone has trouble getting focused like I used to? It's like I try to visualize, but like I start thinking about other things, and I start thinking about the things I needed to get done. My mind would go everywhere but where I was trying to visualize.
Yeah, old me would have said tough shit, but now it's our job to be disciplined enough to get ourselves in a meditative state, which simply means
that's such a good response.
It simply means remove the tension from your forehead, remove the tension as much as possible from your jaw. Like I hold so much tension here, but if I want to meditate, if I want to visualize, I have to remove the tension there. And it's up to me to realize that, yes, there's a lot going on in my life, but how much Like, what if this visualization just simply changes my path for the year, for the week, for the day? Then these 5 minutes are the most important 5 minutes of the entire day, of the entire year.
Yeah.
So it's simply the mental discipline to take a deep breath in and breathe it out. And you can feel all that tension leave your body when you do that. But sometimes we just need permission to breathe. We just need permission to be proud of ourselves and need permission to rest.
Yeah.
But it's tough when modern society, hustle culture, tells you all the time that sleep is for the weak.
Yeah.
Right? I'll rest when I'm done. And they don't show all the people who try that, who are on day 4, bags under their eyes, not able to think correctly, and then they force themselves to sleep, but then they try it again. So it's simply this idea of having the discipline to calm yourself down so you can think.
Yeah.
Because that's the same thing we should be doing before a meeting. Same thing we should be doing before a live show. Same thing we should be doing before a workout. And the workout, you can change it up where you can, motivate yourself, get yourself in a better state. But it's just the state change that is the discipline. Yeah.
Something you described, and I'll share this because I think it will help anyone on here who is like I used to be and struggle with this, where I imagined that I walk into a room, or let's say it this way. Imagine some great thing that happened to you. Somebody gave you something you love. Imagine somebody walked in right now and just handed you your dream car and your dream house, right? You watch it on the TV show. Somebody wins something, right? You see it on the internet. And somebody wins something, and they go nuts. They're so excited, and the energy is way up, and you feel that. And imagine that something that happened to you in the past, where something exciting happened. You got a bonus. You something went well. You got your first client. You got a sale, and there's an emotion of like, oh my gosh, that was amazing. And you think back to a powerful moment in your life, and immediately you went from maybe just normal energy to high energy. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that just happened. Like, you're so giddy. Or on the opposite side, someone cut you off in traffic. You're just driving along, minding your own business, feeling good. And out of nowhere, you're like, immediate anger comes up. I can't believe they, and you feel that emotion. That is an immediate state change.
Mm-hmm.
And so if that can happen that quick by somebody cutting you off in traffic and you feel, I can't believe that, or that can happen that quick by someone doing something nice and kind for you, or if you're a parent or an aunt and an uncle and, one of your nieces and nephews or kids comes and gives you a hug and gives you something they drew for you and you feel, that was so sweet. You feel that softness, that sweet purity that a kid just comes and shares. And when that happens, I start to relive that, and I think about those moments. And this is just the reverse of that. It is future pacing yourself to that emotion, immediately changing your state from perhaps the person you are today to the person you're visualizing you're becoming. What if I started to step into that energy and power today? And that's been such a gift. And every time you walk me through a visualization, it immediately changes my state and takes me to a place of calmness. And so I think that's what everyone here is about to experience.
Yeah, I heard that non-clinically, depression is just living in the past in a negative light, and anxiety is living in the future in a negative light. And the opposite of those is being able to, of course, bliss is living in the present.
Yeah.
But the greatest feelings is being able to go back in the past and relive the great experiences, and then put yourself in the future and create great experiences. So then you're always able to put yourself in a great state. So you can always create more.
Yeah.
And I think that's what God calls us to do is of course, to create. And I would highly suggest that as we do this visualization here in a minute, that you allow yourself to trust that and trust the fact that you can create. When you go into the future, when you look into the future, you can simply create great things and feel great about those. But I want to honor your point here by having us, before we do the visualization, simply going back and looking at one or two moments that we feel so great about. You guys want to do that?
Let's do it.
Okay. So as always, when you're doing your own visualizations, right? Because not all of them will be led by somebody else, but you're just simply going to want to do a couple things. The first thing is a box breathing. And I'll explain each part so that you can come back to this and always guide yourself through. But I do a 4, 4, 4, 4, a box breathing up through the mouth for 4 seconds. Then I hold it, and you're going to feel yourself get so calm in those 4 seconds while you hold the breath. And as you release your breath, simply release, like think about releasing tension, right? Think about wherever your tension is, releasing it all. And then you hold it again and you just feel your body. I know it's a lot to pay attention to, but when you do this 2, 3, 4 times, it just becomes clockwork, just like that. So again, I'm gonna have you breathe in for 4 seconds through your mouth. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, and you hold it for 1, 2, 3, 4. Let out all the tension for 1, 2, 3, 4. You hold it and just feel your body. What do you feel? Maybe it's tingling sensation, maybe calm. Ready? Breathe in for 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold it for 1, 2, 3, 4. Let out any tension for 1, 2, 3, 4, and you hold it for 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let your breath go back to normal, just in and out. You don't have to pay attention to the breath anymore. It'll just be exactly how it is. Allow your eyes to close, and the way you sit, whether you are sitting on the floor, whether you're sitting at a desk, whether you're sitting on a couch or at your bed, it doesn't matter. The biggest thing is that you just have a proud stance, a proud seated stance. You don't want to be too slouched over. You want to feel proud, and it's going to flow throughout your body. And what I do is I pretend that a string is holding up my head so it stands up straight. Or I imagine my head is like a heavy rock and it's balancing between another big rock. And it's just balancing between the two. When I do this, it'll put me just in a very calm state. I do this every single morning, and it'll calm all of your thoughts and put your thoughts actually in a proud place. But as your eyes are closed, I just want you to think about something you could be so proud of, something that has happened in the past, or maybe you've achieved something, or maybe you've completed a task, or completed a big project, or simply did something in your life that you can be so proud of. Go back to that moment for a second. And while you're in that moment, I want you to feel what you felt in that moment. How would you smile right now, knowing that that has happened and you were so happy and you were so proud? How would you feel right now in that moment? Now, I want you to go to another moment in your life where you were just so happy. Maybe you were hanging out with a friend or a significant other or a parent or somebody in your life that you love. You were hanging out with them. Another time when you were just so happy. Think about that time. And I invite you to relive it fully. And now that you've experienced that, I just want you to put yourself 2 years from now. And I want you to imagine seeing someone who is so incredibly confident. See this figure, and it is you 2 years from now. Maybe you're in a coffee shop and you see this person. They just have so much confidence. They have so much good energy. Their skin is so clear, and their radiance just lights up the room. What do you see? I want you to imagine that this person sees you, and they look at you and they smile, and they're so excited, and they walk up to you and give you a big hug. How would you smile right now, feeling all that warmth in that good energy of this person. They smell good. They look good. Their outfit is just incredible. And I want you to imagine you're sitting down with this future version of yourself. And you are just in awe by what you see. This person has clearly worked out consistently. This person has been focused. This person has been doing their skincare routine every day. This person has done the work, and you are sitting with this person right now. Now I want you to imagine for a second, you ask this future version of yourself a simple question. What would you ask them, and how would they respond? Now, the last piece I want to walk you through is I want you to imagine the both of you getting up and you look over to the left and you walk to the other side of the coffee shop and you just see all of your friends and all of your family and your community that you've built up that over the past 2 years has been created. And everyone's raising their coffee cups to you and they're just celebrating you. And you just get to experience the love and the good energy, really feel what you would feel in that moment. And I want you to imagine now you're looking for you, the person you just met, and you can't find them. And I just want you to imagine going over to a mirror and realizing that you have become this person. When you walked over to the other side of the coffee shop, you have become this person. And I just want you to feel what it's like to be this person with your thoughts so clear and your body so calm, and you have so much confidence about you and so much love for yourself and for other people. And I want you to understand that in this moment, you are able to feel what this future self is feeling and take in all these emotions in. And the only difference between you and this future version of yourself is the way that you speak, the way that you think, the way that you feel. But it's something that you can start doing right now. And before you walk out those doors in this coffee shop, before you walk out those doors, I want you to fully accept that you are this person and that you commit to being this new version of yourself. And you walk out that door. I want you to imagine walking out that door, looking at the doorway, walking through it, and always remembering that you can be this person right now. And as you take one more deep breath in, I want you to breathe out that old self. Completely breathe out that old self that no longer serves you. And when you're ready, you can blink open your eyes and come back to where we are today. And I just want to talk about that for a little bit, because what you experienced, if you actually went through that, was something that could change your life forever. I know you've done that a couple times. I know we're on live, but were you able to go through
Yeah.
the same? What did you see?
So something that, and it's been a build up for me. I remember the first time you walked me through that years ago, and it was massively impactful. And so, becoming familiar with it, it becomes easier each time, because 2 years ago, me envisioned so so much more of who I am today.
Yeah.
So it's already became a big piece of my reality. And so I think seeing that future self is not difficult as it used to be. Because I already know that I will continually becoming more confident.
But you are the person today that you would visualize before.
Absolutely.
And it's interesting because we're not visualizing cars, we're not visualizing homes, which is a great visualization
Yeah.
that we do. But you're simply visualizing the aura and the energy and the charisma of the person
Yeah.
and realizing that you could step into that now.
And you realize when you expect that of yourself, that is what part of our brotherhood has grown so much is because of that constant accountability. And so, when I visualized it, I didn't think like, oh, by the way, constant accountability is going to get there. Oh, by the way, I'm going to travel here and meet these people, and we're going to travel to this place in the world and do this thing. Like I was just envisioning the symptom or the result of becoming that person, which is a confident, well-dressed, incredibly fit, healthy, smiling, amazing man surrounded by great people. And I visualized all those things, not knowing that it's just the daily action steps that get us there. But if that's the end result, if we keep our eye on the person we're becoming, then the rest falls in place.
Yeah.
The right people show up, and we're subconsciously thinking, no, that person wasn't at the table at the coffee shop. And so they fall off. And then you're going, oh, yeah, I remember them. They match the energy of one of those 27 people that was around the table cheering me on. Yeah. And so everything starts to align to the man or the woman that you are now becoming.
I love that you said that, where you keep your eyes fixed on that person that you're becoming.
Yeah.
And because that gives you permission to be that person, and it gives you a direction.
Yes.
A lot of people are unclear because they simply don't have that direction.
That used to be me. I would let bad partnerships into my life. I would let friendships that was not healthy. That was one-way streets. I would let a lot of bad things happen. I would do deals because that's going to get a check. And I know it's going to be a lot of work, but at least it'll be $7,000. And I didn't align those things with, nope, that is not getting me closer to that person. So I'm going to have to pass on that one. Mm-hmm. Right? Because now when we find our people, we know that that's them. I know that things were meant to be because that was part of who I became.
Yeah. Type in the chat yes if you were able to visualize, or if you visualized during that. I just want to know for future reference. But what I love about this is that it puts all responsibility back onto you. And in our view now, biblical view, it aligns well, mm-hmm. right? Because we're not thinking about manifestation. We're simply giving ourselves permission to be, and to become. And something I want to do a Bible study sometime of be, do, have.
Yeah.
Right? Because from my understanding, we're called to become first, and then to do, to create, and then we have the things that we want. And I think with this type of visualization, it kind of calms our heart, because we're not imagining a Lamborghini and Mercedes, all these crazy things that we want. We're simply imagining how much love we feel by having the right people in our lives. And it's clear because you see this version of yourself that is so confident that they are successful.
Yeah.
And it's not a fake success of how much money do you have. It's how much do you love your life? How aligned are you because of how calm you are? And that's really what we want at the end of the day. Is all we really want is the feeling and emotion of peace, the feeling of love. But we mistake the idea that money is going to get us the right relationship that's going to get us love, or going to get us security that's going to give us peace.
Yeah.
But if we can just visualize what that peace looks like and feel it now, then we can make the aligned moves on any given day to always do the right thing.
Well, and if that confident person is doing the things that make them successful.
Correct.
But their confidence is not tied to the fact that they bought a certain item or could afford a certain house. That is the symptom of who they became. I think getting it backwards is the greatest detriment we can do. That's why you see so many people turning. That's why you see so many people shifting their perspective. And they work so hard to get things and then wind up stressed out, hating their life, overwhelmed. Or when they lose things or business goes sideways, their life is over because that's who they were. But when you are the man, the kind, loving, giving man who leads others to good and to God, who empowers others, who impacts others, and that is who you are, actually who you are. And oh, by the way, I got some really cool crap and I've been blessed to be successful in business. Now that is where you got your priorities straight.
So wherever you are in your life, know that this is simply a tool. This is simply a tool that you can utilize in the morning or in the evening, preferably those two, because it sets your state or it ends off your day. Because if the last thing you're thinking about is the future version of yourself and how much love you feel, you're going to dream about those things. And you're going to wake up and visualize it again. And then you start to get very close and familiar with this person. And you can watch how they move. You can watch how they walk. You can watch how they speak. You can watch how they breathe. And you can simply start doing those same things and build those same habits. And then you don't have to wait 2 years to be that person. It might take 2 weeks.
Sure.
And a reminder I want for every single one of you who actually did that visualization. When you walked out of that coffee shop, you went through a doorway and you became that person and you let go of your old self. But that's simply an anchor and a reminder and a permission to be that person. So every time you walk through a doorway, just remind yourself to be that person again. And maybe you won't hunch yourself. Maybe you'll sit up. Maybe you won't look down on the floor. Maybe you'll look up straight. Maybe you won't think those negative thoughts anymore and you'll think those positive thoughts that they are thinking. And then everything starts to change in your entire life.
What a powerful gift. And while I am such a believer in being at events and being around the right people and doing those things all you can, being a part of masterminds and of trainings, and I love all those things, I'm telling you, if you can integrate this is something you can integrate into your everyday life that we've talked about today. If you can integrate this one thing into your everyday life and run every decision you make up against this thing, your whole world will transform in a matter of weeks or months. And it's not going to be like one day you wake up and you're like, oh my gosh, it worked. It's going to be that in a month you're going to be journaling and you're going to be like, wow, I don't get angry about little things anymore.
That's right.
A year from now, you're going to be sitting there going, oh my goodness, I get up, I have a morning routine. Every morning I read, I thank God now. I talk nicer to the people around me. I walk with more confidence. I make deals more easily. And this is a thing you can integrate in your daily life. And what a beautiful gift to give to everyone listening.
Amen. All of these things just simply bring us closer to God because it makes us more still. It makes us more peaceful. And it's very hard to go against this fact, right? That, oh, this is making me more peaceful. I'm not going to do that. And it just doesn't make sense. And I would urge everyone just to try it and just to give yourself that time to learn these things.
So this is going to be one you want to save. You want to text it to yourself if you're like me and have a group chat with yourself so that you can continually come back to stuff you want to watch. Text it to your friends. Text it to someone you know needs it, because this is something that changed both of our lives and is a gift you can give to your friends, and they'll always relate it back to you and be greatly appreciative.
And if this hits you well, if this taught you something and gave you a good visualization, every Monday night we get together, we discuss these ideas, we talk about them, we get into breakout rooms. So Truka.com, you can join the tribe. It's completely free. It's just an invite for you to talk to other people like us and our tribe members, our community members, every Monday night at 5 p.m. Pacific time. So Truka.com, make sure to go there. It will be very fast for a life-changing opportunity to become the best version of yourself.
Hop in. We'll see you there.
Same time, same place. We'll be here tomorrow. Peace out.
Bye for now.
Bye, guys.